Ethereum is consolidating near all-time highs. It is close to breaking above all-time highs. And after that happens, it enters into uncharted bullish territory. Are you an Ethereum holder? I know a lot of people are. Do you think that Ethereum is a good investment? I know many people do, and yet still many people don't. The real question is, how high could Ethereum go? That's what we're trying to answer. Now, Lyn Alden is literally a professional investor, and a highly respected one at that. And she has just put herself on record and given her full, complete opinion on the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, Ethereum. She has written down both her bearish and bullish predictions for Ethereum going into the future. So far in 2021, we have seen the likes of Raoul Pal predict a $20,000 Ethereum. We have seen Tyler Winklevoss infer a $75,000 Ethereum. So the question is, what does Lyn Alden think? Let's talk about it. In this video, I'm going to clue you in. It is my job to keep you informed on a daily basis. This is why you subscribe. So like the video, support the channel, and before we get to her prediction, let me provide you with some context on who she is. No, she's not just the seventh lead from the Lord of the Rings franchise. She is a big-time investor. People respect her work. This is who she is. Literally, she is a financial advisor. She provides tens of thousands of investors per month with research, information, and tools to help them build wealth and reach financial freedom. Some of her content is aimed at new investors, but most of her topical articles are aimed at more experienced investors. For a little bit more information on her background, she has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, a master's degree in engineering management, with a focus on engineering economics and financial modeling. She oversees the finances and day-to-day operations of an engineering facility currently. She has been performing investment research for over 15 years in various public and private capacities, and you can see all of the notable places that her work has been featured on. In addition to giving you investment tutorials and specific investment ideas, she focuses on high-level strategy, including keeping readers up to date on changing market conditions and various asset allocation approaches to capitalize on opportunities. She does not give personal investment advice, but she does provide insight and information on investments for her readers. What she wants to do most of all is give you clear information and analysis. And that is exactly what she did when she released this report just today, an economic analysis of Ethereum. And again, as we get into this, I want to remind you that this is not a cryptocurrency person. This is somebody who made her name in the traditional financial world and highly respected by not only people in cryptocurrency, but most of all by people outside of cryptocurrency. So when she speaks on something like this, people are focused on it. Make no mistake about it. And as we get into this, again, the purpose of this is to provide you with equity research and investment strategies to give you the insight and the data that you need for managing your money through all market conditions. So let's get into it. As you can see, because I know your time is valuable, we're skipping a lot. She really does a great job answering the frequently asked questions, providing the context, providing the history, catches everybody up. So if you have the chance, look at how much we're skipping. Definitely read the entire thing. But I know your time is valuable, so let's get to the most important parts. And again, keep in mind, she sounds a lot like me actually. As far as crypto assets go, it seems she's a Bitcoin fundamentalist. It seems she understands that Bitcoin is fundamentally different, and throughout this article, it really informs her point of view. For instance, she says, indeed, the track record for digital assets other than Bitcoin is pretty bad. Out of thousands of tokens, many have been outright scams, many lack sufficient security, get hacked at the base layer, not just through exchanges, but the actual protocol itself gets hacked, direct attack, or a bug exploit. There are other ones that are more well-intentioned and interesting, but simply have not been successful. The vast majority of altcoins have not surpassed their late 2017 highs in terms of price or hash rate, whereas Bitcoin has. So that's kind of how she prefaces her point of view on Ethereum. But she's not an Ethereum bear, it sounds like. She says Ethereans, on the other hand, see a lot of value in the Ethereum network. And indeed, Ethereum is one of the other blockchains that has built some degree of network effect over time besides Bitcoin. Ethereum is also benefiting from Metcalfe's law. If you want to hear more about how Ethereum is benefiting from Metcalfe's law, check out this video. I'll link it in the description and I'll link it at the very end. Raoul Pal talks about Ethereum and Metcalfe's law when he gives his $20,000 Ethereum prediction. Check that out if you haven't seen that. But let's get more specific on Lyn Alden's opinion on Ethereum. She says some macro investors like to do a split of 90% Bitcoin, 10% Ethereum, or 80% Bitcoin and 20% Ethereum for the digital asset portion of their portfolio. Do I think that's crazy? Not really. So just right here, this is a big change from what we've seen from her in the past. She says 80% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum is not crazy. Understand that she is kind of updating her opinion on that. People should do what they think is right for them, what they assess to have a good risk, reward, opportunity, etc. Study the top protocols, determine for yourself what you think is likely to be successful. Some people would see value in buying some Ethereum tokens, stashing them away somewhere, and seeing what happens in 5 years as a rather asymmetrical speculation. If Ethereum breaks over its all-time highs, it has the potential for a major gain next year. Ethereum is very close to breaking above its all-time highs right now. Indeed, as long as the network is congested and the fees are high, it helps the Ethereum token appreciate in price. That's exactly what we've been saying. The fees are high on Ethereum. People still use Ethereum. That's only going to help the coin go up in value. Now, before we get to her final conclusion, let's go over the worst case scenario. She says, in my view, the biggest risk for Ethereum is that it could end up like the Concorde. The Concorde was an airplane first flown in 1969 that would let the public fly up to 2x the speed of sound. While it was functional, it never became an economically sustainable project. As I write this in 2021, over 50 years later, the public still has no supersonic commercial flight options. So the Concorde was a great idea, never really, wound up helping the public. She's kind of saying Ethereum could go that direction and we need to watch out for that. So while the Concorde was really cool and could go from New York to London in 3 hours, it never could quite work in terms of solving a big enough customer problem at an appropriate price compared to the alternatives. The market has settled for first-class flyers paying higher fees to make a long flight more comfortable rather than money going towards shortening the time of the flight. Ethereum has tons of smart developers working on it, and it's exploring some neat avenues, but Ethereum could end up being weighted down by its own complexity and lack of broad economic use like the Concorde. With that being said, let's get to her final thoughts. These are the most revealing. Final thoughts. She says, I think monitoring Ethereum is important for a variety of different investors. Stock investors should probably pay attention to some of the dApp developments to see if anything out of that ecosystem could disrupt some of their traditional investments over time. Bitcoin investors should monitor it as a partial competitor, also a partial collaborator to see what works, what doesn't work, and more importantly, why. It can inform the development of their own ecosystem. Stablecoins are particularly important in my view. I'm bullish on the amount of money locked up in stablecoins. It's a space to watch for both good developments and bad developments. The U.S. Office of Comptroller of Currency now officially permits U.S. banks to use stablecoins. They're a much more liquid form of fiat currency, and you can have various implications for central bank digital currencies and the existing global monetary system. While I don't think having a small position in Ethereum is crazy, and again, keep in mind that this is kind of an update on her opinion, I also don't have a clear way to model it other than just speculation, since it's an unfinished product on the base layer, with a rather circular use case so far that revolves around trading, liquidity provision, and gamification of altcoins. With Bitcoin, I can present a more fundamental-based argument in favor of a non-zero position as a macro asset. 80% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 90% Bitcoin, 10% Ethereum, 100% Bitcoin, 0% Ethereum in terms of Bitcoin ETH ratio all make sense to me as the digital asset portion of an investment portfolio. Her personal approach is 100% Bitcoin, 0 Ethereum, because she hasn't seen a compelling reason to change that other than just if she felt like speculating. She says, I'd personally need to see ETH 2.0 out of alpha development with consistent monetary policy and with more usage in areas outside of token speculation for it to grab my interest in a more structural way. Some people in the digital asset community refer to Bitcoin as gold and Ethereum as oil. One is a store of value, the other is an enabler of work, in other words. And if you want to find out more about Ethereum being the oil, I'm going to leave a link at the end of this video to this video, Tyler Winklevoss explaining this concept. This is when he infers that 1 ETH could equal 75,000 per coin in the future. Lyn Alden continues saying, however, I see Bitcoin as having a tenacity to surprise to the upside and persist from cycle to cycle in a way that most other cryptocurrencies don't. Ether might be the second largest blockchain network that stays around for a long time from cycle to cycle in a functional form, consistently benefiting from Metcalfe's law, but it has to get past this 2.0 transformation first. Yes, we've always said this. ETH 2.0 is a big unknown to us as investors. From an engineering perspective, she says, I prefer Bitcoin's modular design. The base layer is simple and stable and designed to be bulletproof. She concludes, I'll continue to monitor the industry, but at this time, I prefer an exclusive Bitcoin investment for the digital asset portion of my portfolio. Although I can see why some people like to speculate with Ethereum as well, since it can have a higher percentage gains during a bull run. Those spectators should just understand that the base layer is still in alpha development with rapid change in terms of security, monetary policy, and addressable market at a time when competition in smart contract industry is not insignificant. Okay, so let's summarize. What are the big takeaways from this report? Well, number one, Lyn Alden says an up to 20% allocation into Ethereum in this bull market does not sound crazy to her. She can understand why, because Ethereum has a chance of outperforming Bitcoin, and it is differentiating itself from the other altcoins with Metcalfe's law and stuff like that. She herself is only invested in Bitcoin for fundamental reasons and the fact that there's just so many unknowns with Ethereum 2.0. For me personally, one of my bigger takeaways from this article is just the fact that we continue to see the conversation changing around Ethereum, and Ethereum continues through an ecosystem point of view, in this case, a narrative point of view, it continues to push itself forward into the mainstream and is a coin that many people will be speculating on. And for more information on the bull case for Ethereum, click on either of these two videos. You can hear Raoul Pal explain his prediction, and you can hear Tyler Winklevoss explain his prediction. Now make sure you subscribe to this channel before you leave. We drop a video every day. Cryptocurrency is in a bull market now. Stay informed on a daily basis. I'll see you tomorrow.